And I was giving more points to the fact that I could tell Wayne was really writing and really focusing on what he was doing. And I guess more so the intent and how he was trying to deliver and trying to do something different and do things out of the box. Now, this is what I want to talk about too, because there's so many things to really cover on this. Do you think it would have helped to actually have Nicki and Drake involved in this album like many people wanted? And
Yes.
why do you think that just didn't happen?
I don't know what's going on with him and Drake. I heard a line on the song. I don't know if it was even directed towards Drake. It was interesting, but I don't think there's smoke with them. I mean, I know when he was ramping up with anticipation for the Carter Six, he was like on a tour bus and he had an OVO owl chain on. So I don't think it's just weird with them. I don't know what's going on. These are like the last couple albums. There hasn't been any collabs with them on neither one of their each other albums. So I don't really know what's going on, but Drake has saved Wayne in the past on certain records. Whether it was a hook or something. And a Nicki one probably would have been dope. I'm not a fan of Nicki's last album, but I feel like a Nicki feature with Wayne or Drake will always be dope. Like their collabs is always good. Even when all three of them, like when Nicki, when she had Seeing Green, that was a good rapping side of Wayne on that record too. But all three of them on that was dope. Just like they did Truffle Butter, that was dope. Like all three of them on the record is always dope. So with him actually rapping on this album, like not a lot of that melodic BS he be on sometimes. He's actually rapping for the majority of his album. I think this was the album that it kind of would have got you more points if you did probably do a track with both of them or at least one of them. But yeah, you know,
Well, now that you
I
mentioned that big three, the Young Money big three, if you will, I think that this is a time where the three of them would need each other. And I think that it would be good for music, it'd be good for hip hop, it'd be good for them. I'm sure they're like, you remember OKC drafted, Kevin Durant, Westbrook, James Harden, and just couldn't keep them all. I feel like
mm,
this is what happens when you do have a big three that is all in the same camp like this, and they get pulled in so many different directions. It's like we're never gonna see them together again. It feels like, and anytime we do see them together again, it's almost like, what is this? Like this is like an award show or something. But I just don't understand, like you said, what's actually going on in the inner workings. But on paper, anyone could sit there and see, like, yo, Wayne clearly would need this at this point. Drake can get any win that he can get at this point, and Nicki too. And I think that all three of them coming together develops this level of excitement for their music that I don't think would be there in this current moment from a solo standpoint. Now there was a time where each of them, warrant that level of excitement solely more than it would be with them coming together. But I think we're in a different place now. This is kind of like when when Michael finally had to kiss the ring and work with his sister on Scream. Like, he needed Janet in that moment because Janet was popping. He was going through the cases and all of these things, and obviously that's his sister, so she always gonna come through. He would do the same for her, but I think sometimes people got to realize where they're at. And I think that they still feel like it's the time when they were all bigger solo than they were as a collective. And I think right now it would be huge if they would come together as a collective and do something.
yeah, I think it's always dope and it's always beneficial when all three come together. But I think the one that's in the best shape of all of them will be Drake. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like, I feel like
And he's not
what
in the best shape right now either with the Kendrick thing. I mean,
yeah, but I think if anybody, he'll be fine. For
yeah,
Nicki has a solid fan base, but I ask people, what is like the last big Nicki song? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is the last big Nicki record that
on
you can think
paper,
of
super freak.
wasn't a good song?
I agree with you, but on paper, it's like, yeah,
Surprisingly, I like the song with Ice Spice better than that song.
that song
The
was
Barbie,
dope. No, I'm with you. I'm with you.
I like better than Super Freak.
Yeah, I'm with you. Um, I mean, people got to understand, like, I don't know. They just don't. I don't know why they're not doing this because right now, where do you think Wayne goes from here? I'll put it that way. Let me collect my thoughts. After the
Goes back
Carter
into
Six,
whatever it is.
after the mixed reaction that he's getting from his core base, where do you go from here musically?
Well, they haven't projected that still be number two on Billboard top
Well, I mean,
200.
the
Like,
numbers are going to be the numbers. I think he's
well,
going to
but this
do
is
the
why I
numbers.
say
But Wayne
for him.
hears what you guys are saying. Wayne hears what his core is saying about this album, and I
Well,
don't think that's going to change.
when you have somebody, well, it depends. When you have somebody that looks at the chart success and they'll equate it to, hey, my album number two in the country. You know what I'm saying? It's like what I do from here, I go on tour from here. I don't give a damn about y'all opinions. And you know,
Yeah,
Wayne has always been in this. I don't know if it's an act or whatever it is, that he's in this other world that it's kind of like he just does his stuff and just goes out and do whatever he wants. And you see him again when you see him again. As far as us, we'll criticize, we say whatever. Um, but I where Wayne goes from here is he goes on tour and he keeps doing Wayne. I don't think it hurts his legacy. I don't think this album is an album that hurt the legacy. I think the fact that you gave us three solo albums that have been duds, that's what hurt the legacy. Because people are only gonna talk about what did you do in the past, what was hot in the past. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, like I said, hip hop is a what have you done for me lately game. And
for sure.
what happened for me lately as a solo artist, you haven't given me anything noteworthy in 10 years.
Well, what is a
So that
classic for Wayne in your estimation? Like, what does a classic for Wayne look like in 2025 anyway?
well, that's hard to
That's
judge
a
what a
hard question.
class like that hasn't had time to develop over time to see what it's like. Like I could tell you that the Carter
What
3
is
is a
let me
class.
let me rephrase that. What does an album of the year look like for Wayne in 2025?
Going back to the formula that you use on the Carter 3, making hits, hit quality music. Like if we go through the Carter 3 and people will say, "Oh, that's mainstream Wayne," but that's when Wayne is on top of the world. You know how we started off Welcome to the Carter? Think about Carter 3. Started off with 3P. Then you go off to Mr. Carter with the J feature. Then
Mm-hmm.
you have a like let's think about the cohesion and transition of these songs. 3P, Mr. Carter, a Millie, Got Money, Comfortable, Dr. Carter, Phone Home. I never liked that record. I
Me
hate
either.
Phone Home.
Me.
But he did us with one of the most introspective Wayne songs he's ever done. And that's Tie My Hands with Robin Thicke.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then you go into Miss Officer after that. Let the Beat Build. Then Shoot Me
Mm-hmm.
Down. I actually really like Shoot Me Down. I
Mm-hmm.
really do. Musically, I like Shoot Me Down. Then you got Lollipop, hit record. La
Yeah.
La with Briscoe and Busta Rhymes. I always like that song. I'm not gonna lie, I always like that song. Then you know they added Pussy Monster on there. You Ain't Got Nothing. Love that record. The record with Joel Santana and Fabulous. I love that record.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And don't get it. But Carter 3, the cohesion, think about it, it was like he was hitting you.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. All right. Then boom, another one. Then boom, another one. Then boom, another one. Like that shit worked, bro. Like that's what made him larger than life. Like
It
if you
was.
think about it, single was Lollipop.
Well, it was a two-headed monster. I mean, Lollipop. I remember when I first saw Lollipop on what was that MTV Jams, and they had their own station or whatever. I was like, why is he putting this record out? And then a Millie came, and a Millie like Lollipop was like you said, it was radio, 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 and then a Millie was kind of the streets, mixtape Wayne, and radio. And I think that even with 6'7" and him following up, you know what I'm saying, a Millie with something like that, I think
But
that
since
was
it
Wayne's
wasn't on the Carter
formula.
3.
Yeah, I think that was Wayne's formula to hit you with a record where he was just spazzing out, and
Yeah.
this album does not have that. And I think that if
Yeah.
you could have a record that, like you said, even with the what was that Swiss Beats record that you were talking about on Funeral? Um,
You know, Would Have Love Go. I don't know what the name of the title of that song
yeah,
is,
yeah.
but
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. What's that record? And that record that was on Swiss's album. You remember the record that was on Swiss's album a few years back with him and Alicia Keys? It'll come to
Nah,
me in
not
a
really.
minute. But if it was something like that that was hard hitting, it was heavy, like this album doesn't have that approach. And so yeah, I could see how that's totally different for, him and his
Yeah,
audience. But
like
yeah.
when I'm
But you're
looking at
right.
this
I
track,
mean, the Carter 3 is kind of the blueprint if you're trying to make a hit album that still has critical acclaim.
think about it, he gave us 4 hit songs off this. I mean, hold on, is
Mhm.
it 4? Yeah, he gave us Lollipop, then he gave us a Millie, then gave us Got Money, and then did Miss Officer. I think Miss Officer was like the fourth single because Got
Yeah.
Money was after it was a part of a Millie video, like or something like that. Like these videos is kind of intertwined with how they did Got Money and stuff like that or whatever. Or one was before another, but those are 4 hit records off this album.
Do you put the Carter 3 at number one?
My personal favorite, I put the Carter 2 over the Carter 3 just because I feel
Carter
like
2
it
is
was a
my
little
favorite. Yeah.
yeah, Carter 2 is a little bit more grimier, but objectively, Carter 3, it should overall would be the number one because that's where you get the biggest hits out of him. That's the biggest album.
Yeah.
Um, it was monstrous. You know what I'm saying? But
I'm
then
with
like
you. I'm with you. Let me think about this because personally, like you said, the Carter Two is my favorite. Personally, you got Hustle's music, you got Money on My Mind. We had D Boy on there. I love these records,
yeah, you
but
had Fireman,
objectively,
Best Rapper Alive. You had the joint with Corrupt, Lock and Load. You had,
yeah.
one of my favorite songs where he's just rapping, where he's just rapping. Um, oh no,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh no, I'm with you. I
yeah,
mean,
oh no. I
shit,
mean, he had joints. So this is Wayne rapping. He said he was the best rapper alive. He had the self-titled track "Best Rapper Alive" on
he was
here.
going
But
for it.
then he gives you records like I said. What was the first single off the song off this album? Fireman. Fireman was the
Fireman, yeah.
first single off his record, which was strong. And then he gives you what Hustler music, and
Mm-hmm.
then he gives you Shooter, but this album is a little bit more grimier, man. And then the Carter 2, he gave you hits. But then when you look at the Carter 4 track list,
You mean the
I
Carter
mean,
Three? He gave you hits.
no, yeah, no, I said Carter 3 hit, but I'm saying even
Uh,
when you hit at the Carter 4 track list now, getting into the Carter 4, he starts it off with Blunt Blowing, Mega Man, 6 foot, 7 foot, Nightmares of the Bottom, She Will with Drake, How to
yeah.
Hate with T. That's one of my favorite songs on that
I
album is How
forget
to Hate.
she wills on the Carter Four. Yeah.
Exactly, and that's why I say Drake and collabing. It does something for Wayne because she will. You know, that's one of those ones.
Yeah.
Then you get the interlude with Tech Nine spitting, and that goes into John with Rick Ross.
I forgot about
You know what I'm
John.
saying?
Yeah.
Then you get then you get abortion. Then you get so special with John Legend was one of my I love that song on that album too. Then you got How to Love, President Carter, It's Good with Drake and Jadakiss. Then you get the outro with Bun B, Nas, Shine, and Busta Rhymes. Like that's what I'm saying. This was a good album. You know what I'm saying? He had joints on here. You got John. You got She Will. You got 6 foot 7 foot. You got Blunt Blowing. You got How to Hate. You know what I'm saying? You got So
Yeah.
Special with John Legend. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, even if you would have gave us this, I would have been satisfied.
I mean, based on what we were just going through, objectively, I would probably say personally two is my favorite, but objectively, I would say three, two, one, four.
I wouldn't be mad at it.
Three, two, one, four. And yeah, five and six, like you said, need another listen to five. I hadn't listened to five in a minute. I do remember him sounding better on five than he sounded on this. But see, five, like you said, we get a pass because it sounded like five was recorded throughout a whole bunch of different time spans and kind
Yeah.
of just pulled together as almost a compilation.
Well, he kicked it off like, all right. So the reason why five bothers me because you start off with a record where like I know it was a thing because that's at Sensation's passing whatever, but I did not like Don't Cry.
Hmm.
Don't Cry. That record made me go into Don't Listen. You know what I'm saying? That's something that alone would have made me just cut it off. But that was a song with Swiss Beats Uproar. You get
Uproar,
Uproar.
yeah.
You do get a Nicki Minaj feature on here on Dark Side of the Moon, and I'm not going through these in order, but I'm just trying to figure out what are the records on here. You know what I'm saying? Like Mona Lisa was a record with Kendrick. Some people like it, some people don't. I know a lot of people who like Mona Lisa. Um,
Due to the magnitude of the collaboration, I don't think that it is that great that we would still be hearing that record.
I mean, this album was 23 songs long, man. Carter
Yeah.
5 was it
But see, that's
just
the streaming era, man. We're gonna keep getting these long albums, man. And these long albums aren't serving anybody, man. Like it really not.
well, if you really look at Wayne's albums, he's always had long albums. The Carter 3 was probably one of his shortest. He had 16. Carter 2 had 22. Um, let's see.
What did the
Where's the
Carter
first?
one have?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at now. The Carter, that was a long album. I can tell you that right now. That was
Yeah.
21 songs.
Well,
Um, yeah, it's like it's always been a thing. Like the Carter 4 had 15. That was probably his shortest. 15. That was one short of the Carter 3. So yeah, I mean his albums has always been long. Even like Father Like Son was 20 songs. Well, it's 20 tracks. He had some skits and stuff, but yeah, like all his albums is pretty long. I'm Not a Human Being. Those are the short ones. Where you get like 13. One is 17. Yeah, it's like even his mixtapes are long. I mean, he always
well,
gave you a lot of music.
yeah. Well, I mean that's just what they do in New Orleans, I guess, man. Master P used to do it too. It'd be 20 plus records. But Wayne, he just had a lot of bars, a lot of rapping to do, and he's gonna keep giving you product. I just wish
But
that
it
again, we do need the big three of Young Money to come back together and do something because I think that would definitely help music. And I think that'll help them overall.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree, man. That state of Young Money, I don't know. I mean, I kind of don't even associate Drake with Young Money anymore. To be honest with you, it's
I
like
haven't for a long time, to be honest. Yeah,
I haven't, yeah, for a long time. And Nikki, she just is her own beast as well.
yeah,
But I don't think Nicki's. Like I said. This is why I have to say. I think Drake's um has the best light at the end of the tunnel than both of them because I don't think Nicki's. I mean, outside of her core fan base, whatever, I don't think Nicki has shown strong efforts musically in a long time as well.
it's been a minute.
You know what I'm saying? So, for me, I feel like Drake has the better outcome or trajectory of what's more left in the tank than it is for the three of them.
For
I
sure.
think Nicki has a little bit other factors to her too, because you do have the female rap scene and that transition that it's taking right now. And Nicki has always kind of been above it, but that's the reason why it's a tough thing for Nicki because you have the rap girls doing what they're doing. You got Nicki that sits above that kind of like all of them want it to be like. A lot of those girls' inspiration was Nicki,
Yeah.
but the style isn't Nicki's right now. The style is what these younger ones are doing. And Nicki's what in her 40s, right?
Hmm.
Her trying to do that type of music won't connect all the way. And when you do records like the Hot Girl Summer remix with Meg, those are the records where you can kind of bridge those two. But if you make records kind of talking like them, it's kind of digressing her musically. So I don't really know. I think the best thing she could do right now is be personal and more reflective, or just keep on making pop records. But
Yeah.
Drake has the best trajectory out of all three right now.
Easily. And that's no question. He's just going through a little bump and bruise. And I think he'll get over that.